Hi, darlings. Thank you so much for joining me on the Creative Retreat channel today. And today I have a Bible journaling process for you here in my pocket Bible. And I am showing you some of the elements that I have pulled out to already use. I'm also pulling out some of these Neocolors from my stash. I'll be using the stamp set and some extras that I have left over from the physical kit. I'm journaling here in Philippians chapter 2, verse 9. And here I am starting off with the stamp set. I'll be using the Neocolors, just dipping them in some water and coloring right onto the stamp on my acrylic block. And then I stamp that down to the page. I love the watercolor effect that this gives. And it gives that effect without you actually being a professional at watercolor. So I love that is a messy but beautiful watercolor look that I can achieve with this easy technique. I am now pulling another piece, which is the branch, and then I will be using the green, and I will link below, or actually list below, the Neocolors that I chose for this kit. And I'm using this one just like I did with the orchid yellow. I am just dipping that into some water and then coloring straight onto the stamp that's on my stamp block, and then adding that to the page. I love that with this technique, you can do some second generation stamping to make it lighter, or you can double stamp to make the color more saturated. And also it leaves a lot of room for error because you can double stamp and it still gives that beautiful, messy watercolor look without it looking like you actually made a mistake. So I love that it's very forgiving. So after I stamp those down, I'm going to go ahead and dry off my page. This is just so I can ensure that I don't get my other pieces wet. And so you can also let this air dry. And after I dry my page very well, I'm going to add some black to the page by using the little it's like the splatter piece that's on from that stamp set. I'm going to use that with the color black and add that to my page. As I finish up this background, I do go ahead and double check that it is dry, and then I go ahead and organize the elements on my page to kind of see how I want my title to turn out. I had a mix of the word fetties and digital elements, and this King Jesus is actually from one of the journaling cards. And I wanted the King Jesus, but I didn't want to use the full card, so I just cut out that portion. And that's just another way that you can stretch out your Faithful Digital kit and kind of make it work for you. Don't be afraid to cut things out, to use it in different ways to fit your journaling. I am journaling here in Philippians chapter 2, verse 9, and I love the journey that Paul takes us through in the first verses of this chapter. He kind of takes us through the path of Christ and how his humbleness and his path in his life, and how the climax is found in verse 9, where God exalts him to the highest position, and he gives him the name above all names, the name that we exalt the most, that we hold in high regard above everything else in our lives. In this season, we remember Jesus and who he is and what he means. But it shouldn't just be in this season that we exalt Jesus' name, but he should be the reason for every season of our lives, because he is the great I am. And I wanted to create a page that kind of signified that. I grab a label that I love using from the Faithful Digitals to stamp out my dates, and I'm going to adhere that to the bottom. I picked this baby blue color to match the letters in King Jesus and bring some of that blue to the bottom of the page. I'll also grab a heart, one of the brown ones, to bring some of that brown and have 3 of those elements. And then I'll stamp out my date with some black VersaFine ink there at the bottom. Now reaching over, I'm going to grab a brown marker and I'm going to block out that verse over on the left-hand side that I am focusing on, which is verse 9. And I also grab another wonky heart within the circle to dry the eye over to that side of the page. I contemplated on possibly using a tab to add to the page, but I thought it would overwhelm the page, so I also forego that. And then grabbing the washi from a couple of kits back, I grabbed some of that to add just a little bit more texture to the page. And I'm going to add that in 3 different places. So I tear the washi, adding a little bit on my date label down there at the bottom. Then I'll grab another piece and put that under the last portion of the title, and then some at the top. You are new to the Creative Retreat channel, I do hope that you consider subscribing. Hit the like button and notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. All the other girls have such wonderful projects going on throughout the month. I don't want you to miss that, and I appreciate you guys joining me each and every video, darlings. God bless. Bye.